So welcome friends, welcome to your channel Efficient Corporates. So today in this video, we will be doing our hands-on experience of how to make a Power Query model, right? So in this, we'll be working in an Excel file. I'll start with a very basic, that's from the blank Excel file and the MIS which I made using that Excel templates. We will be trying to make the same MIS from scratch using a Power Query. So before we jump right into the Excel file, let's start with some basics which will help you understand the concepts very well. So let's start. So let's start with some Power Query beginner tips, PQ beginner tips. So something I want you to understand is that establishing connections with relevant data set. So what does this mean is the connection basically means a link with the said Excel file or the with the concerned table in an Excel file. जो लिंक है उसको हम कनेक्शन बोलेंगे. सो दैट इज जस्ट अ लाइव कनेक्शन, द रियल टाइम कनेक्शन. जैसे जैसे उसमें चेंज होगा द कनेक्शन विल आल्सो बी अपडेटेड. सो दैट इज establishing connection with the relevant data sets. VLOOKUP is equal to merge query. In Power Query we have nothing called a VLOOKUP. आपको VLOOKUP का कोई ऑप्शन दिखेगा नहीं. So what, how do we do a VLOOKUP? Because this is the one of the most used function. So for the VLOOKUP we have something called merge query. So one, just let me give an example that there is a product code and you need the product name. So the product name is in a product master and this product code is lying in your MIS or in your report which you extracted from your Tally or some accounting software. Now how do you look up this product code from that product master? So the first step will be to establish a connection with that product master which you have, and once the connection established, this becomes a query, and then you will be applying merge query option to merge this power product code with that product code. I will see that in action and you will be able to better understand. Next is ensuring correct data types. So data type is something which you might have never heard of if you have never have an experience of programming. So data type means what type of data is it. For example, if you type a number 1, then it is an integer data type or a number data type. If you type a number 1.2, it is a decimal data type. If you type a number 1st of December 1900, it is the date data type. And if you just type apostrophe and 1, so that is a string data type. That is, even numbers can be in the form of a string or a text. And all these data types vary from each other. So at a glance, you might seem that it is just one, but when we have the data type level bifurcation, then these four are four different data types. Okay. And the next tip for everyone is keep practicing and exploring, because there is a lot more to learn in Power Query. So the more you practice, the more better you become. So the step one is extract data. We'll see that how we create connections with all these files, and that any transformation that we want into this file that can be done, for example checking the data types. We'll see that in action in just a moment. So step one is extracting the data. So once you've extracted all the data which you need, then we go to the step two, and step two is main transformation. So what do you do in transformation? We add the necessary columns like we saw in our MIS. Once we have that sales report, we have to add columns like sales amount, taxable value, and the name of the customers, the product GST rate, and then the IGST, SGST. So all these columns we add. For VLOOKUP, we use data source, merging query with other data source. Okay. So this is the transformation part. Once you have added all the necessary columns that you need, the next part, the final part is step 3, that is loading the data. So what do you mean by loading the data? Loading data means making, या तो आपको वो टेबल के फॉर्म में चाहिए होगा तो loading it as a table, or if you need it in form of a pivot, then you making it as a pivot. So we'll see this also. So just remember these step 1 2 3. Final tips is for the last. We'll see that in some time. So I'm going to this Excel template which we had, and I'll start with a very scratch with very new and scratch file. Okay, so it is just a new blank file, scratch Excel for PQ of Power Query. So let me just open this file. So this is going to be very blank file. Okay. So the first step which we discussed was establishing connections with multiple data sets. Okay. So once we have that data, we know that we need connections with the product master and all those things. So the first step will be to get data. And from where do we have to get the data? From file, from an Excel workbook. So we select this, that we need a data from Excel workbook. So it will take some time. It will be loading its dialog box for accessing the data. So I just say, okay, I have this product master over here. So I'll just copy this, I'll paste it over here, and I'll select product master. So what am I doing here? I'm trying to obtain the data from the product master sheet. It is establishing a connection. Now it will say that it has got two things in the product master. One is the sheet one is the table one. So I'll just say the table one is fair enough, and the table one will be considered data. So I'll just say now the options for you available is either you want to load directly or you want to make some transformation. So as I said, in the step one thing, you can make transformations like changing the data type. Like in case any transformation is required in these three masters, like if you want to just see that the data type needs to be changed, then that you can transform. So when we hit the transform thing, it is saying that the data type of this is a whole number. So whole number means the number without a decimal. Okay. When you go to this data type, it's again a whole number. When you go to this, it is a text, which is right because I need product code as a whole number. It should be text. HSN should be a text. Sorry, HSN should be a whole number. GST rate is in form of decimal number, which is correct. And price is in form of a price is in the form of whole number, which is also correct. Or we can change it if you want. You can change it to decimal number because it is possible that it will be a decimal number. So when you do this, it is say add whether you want to add a new step or want to replace the current step. I'll just say add a new step. That I just want it to be a decimal number. So we have done this. Now after the any transformation which you did, now you have to load it. So here the option comes close and close and load to. So when you click on close and load to, and then you get multiple options. So what do we want? We don't want it in the form of a table. Otherwise, our Excel file will be heavy. No pivot no pivot table or pivot chart. We just want to create a connection with this file. जैसे कि वो फाइल में जैसे जैसे चेंजेस हो, this connection also gets updated. We just want this. So it's the name of a table one. I will give it a more meaningful name. I'll just hit on right click and rename. So I'll say product master. This is my product master. So I have established a connection. Now if you look at the size of this file, this will be very bare minimum, like 10 or 15 KB, but the data in product master might be in 10 or 100 MBs. Okay, so connection is just a link. So the first step is done. Now in the similar way, we will be establishing connections with all the other masters that we need. I need a customer master. I'll just import it. So this time I won't take long. I won't waste your time. I'll just say just take a table two. I'll say load and I'll say load to. I'm not going to transform because I know I don't want to make any changes. I'll just say only create connections. And here, whenever I get the name, I'll just rename it to customer master because that's a good practice. If you rename it in some logical way so that you can remember what is what. So once I've got product master, customer master, now I need the state code master. I'll just again import it. So I hope you're getting a sense of it that we're just trying to establish connections. Again, load to, no transformation required, only create connections. And once it got loaded, I'll rename it state code master. This three is done. So these three were the data through which we had to do a VLOOKUP. You can like read it from my first sheet for that MIS, first video which I made for the MIS if you have any confusions. So we have loaded it. Now the main data. The main data is if I just open it, the main sales data. This is the data that will keep on changing. Like this is the main sales data, and it might change. For now, you have this data. It might change in future. So this is the main data where you have to add some columns. You have to add the product rows and all these things. So what we will do, we will again load this data as well. From file, from Excel workbook, the main sales data, I have loaded it, import. For now, I'll just hit click on this. I'll just say load to and import. Only create a connection and okay. Let's rename it main sales data. Okay. So now we have already created 4 connections out of it. Anytime if you want to see a particular file that product master mein kya hai, you can right click, you can do load to, you can click on table, existing worksheet, and it will just the data table mein aa jayega. Okay, so it is as simple as that. You can just simply delete the table if you want. And delete the table and it will be a connection only. When you load it, it will say that how many rows are loaded. and once you delete, it will be just a connection. So this much is done. Now what do we want to do? We want to transform this main sales data, right? So I want to make some more operations into it. So I have completed the step one. I've made the transformation whichever I wanted, and now the step two, which is the main transformation, that is the main file. You have to add the columns which we need. So I'll just refer back into this file. Now, what are the columns that we wanted to add? So the first column which I remember we wanted to add was the HSN code and the product name and all those things. So what we have to do? A VLOOKUP, right? A VLOOKUP. So, but how do we do a VLOOKUP? Now this, the screen which you are seeing it right now. So if you just missed that part, I just double clicked on it, the main sales data. So I double clicked on it to edit. So basically I want to edit this query. So till now what we have done, we have taken the source, we have navigated to that particular sheet, we have promoted the headers, like the headers were coming over here, the product code, we promoted the headers. After promoting the headers, we changed the data types. So these much was done by the Excel Power Query itself. It was intelligent enough to make all these steps by itself. Now we have to add some more steps. The first step which I want to add is I want to add a column, and the column should have a VLOOKUP. So what I said you in the very first, that there are no VLOOKUP, they are merge queries. So whenever you want to add a VLOOKUP, you don't have to do anything. You just have to, maybe just have to do a merge query. So you can see here there is an option called merge query. Okay, so I'll just click on it, merge query. So I'll say merge queries. So now it is saying on which value do you want to merge the query. So the value I want to use is product code. So just like you use VLOOKUP, lookup value. So the lookup value is product code. Now next is you have these many queries with you. With which do you want us to have the VLOOKUP? So this is the like a table array. So I want to say product master. So in the product master also I have to choose that which one do you want to have the value. So I will choose on this. So now it have understood that I want to do a VLOOKUP from this product master I want onto this product code. So it is saying matches all 1219 rows. All the 1219 rows which are product code there was, it has been matched. Join kind is a left outer, right outer, full outer, inner, left anti and right anti. I would recommend you that you can watch the kinds of join on YouTube. But for now, whatever VLOOKUP we do, the VLOOKUP is always a left outer join. Okay, so left outer join basically means, to be very precise, that it might be the product code has 1 million rows or 10,000 products, but my data has only 800 products. So I want only the 800 products data to be merged, not the extra 200 data. So that's the left outer join, that I want the products of the, so basically the table upper is the left table and the table at the below is the right table. So when you do a right outer join, all the products of the right will be coming if they are not present over here. So always the VLOOKUP is the left outer VLOOKUP. So that's fine. And now you click on OK. So once you click on OK, you will see a new column has already been added. So what do we want to extract from this table? So you can see the two thin arrows coming. Okay, so this basically means it can be expanded. So I have to expand the data because I want to bring out the rows. So what I need is I will be doing. I don't need the serial number. I need the product code 2. Okay, basically the product code might be the product name. So I need product code 2. I need the HSN code. I need the GST rate, and I need the price. So as you can see, if I had to do it on Excel, I had to use VLOOKUP 4 times, like 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 4. I have to use it 4 times, right? But with it I can extract the things which I want. And this is use original column as prefix. So I will say product master. I can just untick it. So I'll just show you what happens if I take it. If I take it, the name will be coming as this. The prefix will be added, product master dot product code, product master dot HSN code, which I don't want. So okay, so you will just go to settings. You can just prefix. You can delete the prefix. You can just do OK. So once you do OK, only the product name is coming, HSN code is coming, GST rate is coming, price is coming. You can just see that just by applying one step, the merge query, you are able to look up the 4 values directly into it. So that is how easy it is. So the first thing is done, like extracting the 4 tables. Now the next step is extracting the state name. Okay, so that I can compare on whether the supply state and the receiver state is same or not. So now what do I want? I want the first two digits of this GST number. Okay. So how can I get it? So for that you can add a column. It's very easy. So there are two ways to do it actually. I'll show you the easier way. I'll say column from examples. Okay. So it will just I can just say that what do I want to do? I'll click on this column. Then I'll say column for examples from selection. Now it will say me what do we want. This is the selected columns. What do I want? So I'll say from here I want 28. 28. Okay. From here I want 12. Sorry. I want, okay, I'm not able to do it. 12. Okay. Now it has already identified. By just doing it, it is identified. I was 19. It has identified that what do I really want. I want the first two digits. So it has made it sense. Now I'll do okay. So the Excel was intelligent enough to understand that I need the first characters from all these things. Okay, so it has brought in the first characters for me. So in that way, this is the one way of doing it. Okay, that choose from columns. The next way to do it is I'll just delete this step. I deleted that step. Now the next way to do it, add column and add a custom column. So what does the custom column mean? I'll just show you. You can just name, you can add the name of the column. The column name will be state code, and I'll say text dot left. Okay, the text dot start. I guess start is the one which I have to use. Text dot start. Okay. So I want the two digits of the starting. So I'll just do text dot start. So you cannot use left, right, and mid directly because there are different syntax. It's a different language. So I'll just do this. I'll do GST number, comma 2. That is how I'll do okay. And you can see the same things came. Okay. So ye jo, this code, little bit of it, you need to like understand how to use right, mid, and left. So that is also very simple. You can do it. So this is how I got the state code. Now I need a state name. The state name is present over here in the state code. Okay. So now you can see the data types which I was mentioning over here, that ensuring correct data type. So what does it actually mean? Now, if you see over here, the state code, if you go to home, the state code is of a data type whole number, right? But the main sales data, the state code which I just extracted, if I look at that state code, the state code, if I click on it, it is of type any. Any basically means it is a type of ABC 123, means it can be a text or a number. So when we have a different data types, that it is a text and a state code, this one we have a number, so we cannot do a VLOOKUP. It will not catch that VLOOKUP. So what we have to do is we have to first change it into a number. I'll change it into a, sorry, I change into a number. Okay. So once I change that into numbers, now this is also become 1, 2, 3, and even the state code master has this 1, 2, 3 data types. Now both are of same data type, so I can apply a merge query into it. So this is just like how do you do a VLOOKUP. So as I said you for the vendor code, the same way you can do it for this as well. The state code is here. The left, that where do you want to VLOOKUP? Again, state code master is over here. Then state code, you can do it over here. I'll do okay. So once I did okay, again this table came. You can expand this table. Do not use as prefix the state name, and you do it click. So now you got a state name. So this is how you do a VLOOKUP in your data sets. Okay. So till here fine. I think this is I think you are able to understand what we have been doing. If I hit close and load, and if I load this data right now into this Excel file. Let me load it as a table. So you will see that I had only up to this in my original data sets, right? But through use of Power Query, I was able to add all these columns. Okay, and all these columns have been added without use of formula. Like you can't see any formulas being written. The formulas have been written in the Power Query in form of steps. So that is how you add columns based on your requirement in your MIS, and you can have this customers master, all these masters as a like helping tool to add the columns. Like I needed the product code and SSN code, I got it from the product master. I needed the state name, I got it from the state code master. Now similarly, I need a customer name. Okay, so now I'll just delete this, and it will be a correction only. So now again, you want to add something, double click on it, and again I want to add the customer master. So what, let me see what type the customer GSTN has. The customer GSTN has a ABC type. In the main sales data, my GST name is also ABC type, so I can easily do a merge query. So I'll just go here, I'll do a merge query, GST number from where I want to do, and the customer master is that link, and this again the customer master. 1204 matches out of 1219 because some might be blank, that is why. And it's the left outer join. Always VLOOKUP is always the left outer join. Again the table has come. I'll just expand the table. I do not need all these email IDs and all these stuffs. Okay, I just need the name of the customer. I'll just click on this. I'll say okay. Then the customer name has come. I'll just close and load. So I've done this much. I'll again load the data for you once. I'll hit on table, existing worksheet. I'm just doing it for to show you. Okay. So now if you go at our um, customer Excel templates, the way we said that how do we do if we had to do it manually. So in here also you can see what we used to do. We used to have these formulas through which we used to get this GST rate, sale price, and everything. Okay, so we have got this GST rate, we have got SSN code, product name, and destination, state master. I'll just do it as green that I've got it. Okay, these have been received. I mean, through Power Query we were able to do it through merge query option. So we have done this much. Also we have done the customer name part. Okay, so this much we were able to do through Power Query, and we didn't have the like we don't have to write these all long formulas, if error, we look up, and all these things, and very easily we could get. Now the best part about this is that whenever you change your sales data, at that point of time even this will get changed. Like this let me show you that there are 12 and 19 rows. So let me open the sales data which was there. So these are the sales data, main sales data through which we are using our Power Query. So once I will change this table sales data, suppose I'll just delete a few rows. Okay, let me just delete this much rows. Now only 66 rows are left. Okay, I'll just do a control S. I'll close this file. Now I'll just hit a small refresh of this, and you can see the data has been changed and only 65 rows are loaded. So you can see the rows have already reduced. So it is so quick and very easy to use that just by changing the base file, you can, everything has been done, and the results is with you. Okay, so for now I think for those who are like seeing this for the first time, it will be very overwhelming and quite intimidating at the very first, that how this is working. So we'll just stop it for now right here. And for those who are watching it for the first time, it might be very confusing or quite intimidating to look at all those screens, very different from the usual Excel. But what I would recommend you is that all the files which I have used in this in our query, in our this tutorial, all everything is uploaded in the Google Drive. You have a hands-on experience of this tutorial and try to do it on your own till the point that we did, and we will be further looking at how we can add those custom if formulas, if error, and we can, how we can apply and or conditions, how we can do calculations of sales amount. That we will be looking in the next video. So I hope you liked it and you will be using it in your office. For any comments, any issues, suggestions, do reach out to me in my number which is already displayed over here. You can you can connect with me at this contact details. And yeah, till that time, stay tuned and we'll be back again with an exciting video. Thanks for watching.